A man drinks 7 liters of soda every day for 10 years. This is what happened to his organ. 7 liters every day? That's cap.
A man drank 7 liters of soda every day for at least 10 years.
That is cap.
This is what happened to
That's
his
cap.
kidneys.
That got it, because that has to destroy you.
BA is a 48-year-old man presenting to the emergency room with sudden onset weakness. The admitting nurse immediately notices that BA can't stand on his own. He sits in the chair, limp like a rag doll.
Okay.
BA was a dad living a normal life, but he had a habit rooted in excess. When he was 30, he got a new job. This office would stock free unlimited soda for employees to drink. The HR lady
He took
loved to
that
tout
unlimited
this
too
as a
far.
wonderful benefit for a great
He took that
place to
unlimited too
work.
far.
Unfortunately for BA, this availability would enable a dark tendency in his life. Over the years, BA's daily soda intake would gradually increase.
How can you even drink 7 liters, bruh? How many cups in a liter? 4.23 cups. So he drank 28 cups of soda a day? Well, closer to 30. That's crazy. Bro needs water. He doesn't even need just water. He just needs to stop drinking. Hey, I'm live on Twitch every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Link is in the description. I better see you there.
He loved the fizzy feel at the back of his tongue every sip he took. He thought he might have had a problem one day when he looked at his desk and saw empty soda cans everywhere. The most disturbing part about this was that he had just cleaned up from the day before when there were empty soda cans.
Oh, he thought he
10
had a
years ago,
problem.
when BA was 38, he noticed that something was wrong. Every day, he'd wake up thirsty. He tried to quench that thirst by drinking his normal morning soda, but the more he drank, the thirstier he got. In the bathroom for the 10th time in 2 hours, BA had no idea how he was urinating that much fluid because it was
10 times in 2 hours? Hold up.
just so much more than the amount of liquid that he thought he drank.
I want to know, okay, how many liters are in a gallon? How many liters are in a gallon? 3 liters is 3.7 liters is 1 gallon, right? So what is that? That's 2 gallons of soda every day. 2 gallons, chat. Imagine a milk jug. Imagine just drinking a gallon of milk one day and then drink it in 2 times in that one day. That's disgusting.
His stomach hurt. He was short of breath. He had a brain fog that would have him stutter and slur his words. And then one day, BA woke up and he was in the hospital. The most recent memory he had was something that happened 3 weeks ago.
Jesus!
His wife told him that his coworkers found him unconscious at his desk.
Wait, how is that the most recent thing that happened that he remembered if you just recalled what happened right before he passed out? How did he remember? You said the last thing you remember was 3 weeks ago, but that just happened. So how? My fault.
BA had had a diabetic coma. His blood sugar had been sky high for at least the last 3 months, and he was high in the hospital despite not eating anything before he finally woke up.
Diabetic
not only that,
coma.
BA also had high blood pressure and high cholesterol
really?
as he was placed on medicines.
I would have never guessed.
Doctors here didn't know about BA's excessive sugar drink consumption. No one told them about it because it was then a normal fact of life. He was advised to pursue a healthier lifestyle with diet and exercise. BA knew in the back.
How long did that take? Wait, I don't even know how long. How far into his drinking life was that? Like, he said 3 months or something? I don't know. I want to know how his teeth were looking. Was he having cavities?
Habit may have been a focal point in this episode, but it wasn't so clear to him. He had been stressed at work recently, and his eating
I don't even like
habits
soda that
weren't
much.
really
I
that
drink soda
great.
like
He cleaned up his diet, started working
maybe
out.
once a
Instead
month.
of drinking regular soda, he'd elect for the zero sugar about half the time, even though he didn't really like it.
Oh yes,
and
that's
things were
gonna
going
change
great,
everything.
but only for a while.
Yeah, the zero
BA
sugar.
eventually
That's the
left that
problem.
company
The
and
sugar.
no longer had free soda at work. He found himself going to the warehouse club to purchase bulk packages for his own consumption, and he'd drink
Nigga
so much that he
into a soda addict. You can get addicted to everything, but how about you get addicted to some water? Oh my god, his piss stinks. I just thought about his pee, bro. Oh no, his semen. He was giving birth with the semen of these full of coke. His kids are gonna come out crackheads.
He'd burn an entire case in a single day.
I bet
One
you
day,
he lost
BA wasn't feeling well.
at
He
least
thought
an
maybe
inch and
he
a
had
half
eaten
in his
something
penis.
funny about a week ago when all of
Had
this started
to.
happening. When he got out of bed that morning, it was hard to stand. He could feel a dull sensation, almost like a cramping in his calves, and he noticed that he was urinating very often again. He got up from his chair to go to the bathroom again, but he felt his legs go soft as he collapsed to the ground.
Damn.
Knowing that something was wrong, he calls for 911.
How did he record all this? It's like he has a camera everywhere in his house. That's nice. I'm glad BA, always had visual proof at everywhere he went.
And he's brought to the emergency room where we are now. At examination, the medical team noticed BA's profound muscle weakness. He told them that it happened suddenly, but he hadn't been feeling well for at least a few days before. His medical record showed his history of diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. That's all they knew about, but at this visit, there's a few clues as to what's happening. A blood test finds that BA has hypokalemia. Hypo meaning low. Kali referring to potassium, or more formally kalium, as shown by its symbol on the periodic table of
Periodic
elements.
table,
And
I remember
meaning presence in blood. Low potassium presence in blood. It wasn't just a little low, it was life-threateningly low. But
he just needed a couple of bananas. So chat, y'all can drink soda every day. You just have to have a banana at least every other day to even out the potassium. Got it. Okay, chat, we're good.
why is this a problem? That same blood test finds that BA not only has hyperglycemia, high sugar presence in blood, but that his kidneys are also shutting down.
Oh, damn.
Wastes that are supposed to be filtered out by the kidneys are now detectable in high amounts in his blood. These wastes aren't specific to soda consumption. They're a measure that his kidneys aren't working like they should be, but this wasn't his only problem. That blood test also indicates that parts of BA's muscles have been damaged and they're spilling their contents out. This is called rhabdomyolysis.
He's peeing out his muscles. He's leaking tissues.
Rhabdo meaning striped, or in this case striated, referring to the appearance of myo, meaning muscle, and lysis, meaning a breaking down of. Striped muscle breakdown. This is also life-threatening, and it's happening because of BA's hypokalemia. The human body has electrolytes everywhere. The electro prefix means that they're electrically charged, just like the plus and minus that you see on a battery, so they can be used to send signals throughout the body. The most abundant electrolyte outside of cells is sodium, but the most abundant electrolyte inside cells is potassium.
Okay.
When muscles contract, signals from the nerves arrive. Sodium from outside of the muscle cell rushes in, initiating the contraction. The body needs balance because sodium isn't...
So basically the outside was overpowering the inside because he didn't eat enough bananas and he had so much sodium. There we go. He said, walk is forcing me to learn. Bro, I wasn't expecting all this either. I'm not gonna lie to you. My brain had to sit down and really focus on what we were paying attention to.
Electrolyte, meaning that it has an electrical charge, more of it flooding into
I don't understand science. Okay, I'm gonna break it down in the most simple way possible. So basically, he has a deadly low amount of potassium, right? And the sodium that he's getting from the soda is getting into where the potassium should be, which is calling shit the fuck up. That's pretty much what's happening. And it's ruining his muscles to the point where he's peeing out his muscle tissue. So all in all, if you didn't understand any of that, just know that you shouldn't drink 7 liters of soda every day for 10 years. If you didn't understand any of that.
cell causes the positive charge to build up. To balance this, potassium, which is mostly inside cells, rushes out of the cell. Then calcium commits to the contraction by changing the shape of muscle proteins. When it's done, potassium flows back into the cell as part of relaxation. But in BA's case, it doesn't finish this way because he has hypokalemia. This could explain why his muscles are weak, because the signals to contract and relax aren't normal anymore. It can explain why his muscle is breaking down and dissolving into his blood, because when potassium is released from muscle cell for contraction, it appears to dilate nearby blood vessels, helping more blood flow to the muscles. But
so ignore my previous explanation. Just know, don't drink soda every single day.
when none of this is around anymore because of hypokalemia, then blood vessels don't get dilated. The muscles start to have a lack of oxygen because less blood gets to the area. The muscles are very metabolically active. They need lots of oxygen, and without adequate blood supply, bad things can start to happen.
Very bad things.
Here's the problem. Shouldn't rhabdomyolysis cause BA's potassium to go up?
I don't even know what that means. Rhabdomyolysis? What are you talking about? Yap, that's what I'm saying. It is yapping.
Potassium is mostly inside cells, and his muscle cells are leaking their contents into his blood. Why does he have low potassium presence in blood then? Well, it might be that his muscles haven't undergone this for long enough to leak enough potassium out.
Okay.
Or there's another force inside BA's body aggressively taking potassium out of his blood, outpacing any amount that could be added by rhabdomyolysis.
That's the sodium.
This could suggest that BA has a problem that hasn't been documented by the medical team before, but what could it be? The medical team tells BA what they want to do. If he has low potassium presence in blood...
So basically what's happening is he has low potassium, and the potassium in his body isn't working because there's something else that's getting filtered to where the potassium's supposed to be because it's overwhelming the potassium, right? So I'm assuming whatever negative thing from the soda is overfilling where the potassium's supposed to go, which is causing him to pee out muscle.
Blood. Then they're going to
You don't make sense.
If his kidneys are failing because muscle proteins are gunking up his tubules, then pushing some intravenous fluids through his body should help get water flowing through and should help flush out that muscle protein while replenishing his potassium. They'll collect his urine for the next 24 hours. If his kidneys are inappropriately wasting potassium, then this could explain to them what's going on. And they'll be better equipped to address the root cause of what's happening. But the results wouldn't be so clear to them. As the hours pass,
you know why it wasn't clear? Because his pee was dirty and stinky and probably green.
Gets thirsty. Often when someone is on IV fluids and the patient doesn't drink anything for several hours, they can complain of dry mouth and throat. This was happening to BA, but not only that, he was also having a massive headache. BA was having withdrawals. Into the step-down unit where the entire medical team would check in with him in the morning, and
he's having withdrawals.
The nurse might drop by one time in a shift. The hospital was big and busy, and he was in the...
What if he starts drinking his own pee? His pee's the only thing has soda in it.
Floor where there weren't that many people. His condition could descend into a medical emergency quickly, but that's why he was being monitored, and he was in the hospital. BA, frustrated and not feeling great, called his wife and asked her if she could bring him some drinks.
You had a wife and she was letting you drink 2 liters every day? I forgot he had kids. Oh my God, he has kids, I forgot.
If he needs fluids like the physician said, he couldn't think of a better way to get some in his body. And she brought it as he drank soda in his hospital room. And the more he drank, the thirstier he got. BA's headache went away, his dry mouth fixed, and his thirst quenched. The next day at
chat, what does that sound like? What does all that sound like, chat? An addiction. Semen.
The medical team finds that he still has hypokalemia, despite getting IV potassium. But when they look closer, they find that he had made a total of 4 gallons of urine in the last 24 hours. The medical team had only made a total of 4 gallons.
4 gallons? 4 gallons? Hold up. How much does the average person pee a day? 3 cups. 3 cups. So he did 5 times the average person.
Gallons of urine.
The max amount of the average person.
In the last 24 hours. The medical team had only given BA about 1 gallon of intravenous fluids over the last 24 hours for his kidney injury. If he urinated out 4 times that amount, the medical team has no idea where that came from. They talk more about this. Persistent.
And he's just over there in his corner like, they'll never find out. How did his wife go get in there with so much soda and no one know? No cameras? No one was really monitoring him if she was able to do that.
hypokalemia, like the one that BA has, can cause a problem called diabetes insipidus, which is different from the type 2 diabetes mellitus that he was diagnosed with years earlier. The word diabetes coming from ancient Greek meaning to pass through, referring to the massive amounts of urine put out by someone who has this problem, as if water is passing right through them. And insipidus from Latin in meaning not, and sapidus meaning tasty. A pass-through of urine that isn't tasty, because back in the 1400s...
But it said it is. You just translated it and said it means is. So this is a passage of urine that is tasty. What does his pee taste like?
Hundreds, when the word diabetes first appeared in English medical literature, they might have diagnosed problems of excess urine by tasting the patient's urine. That's why what we know as type 1 and type 2 diabetes today are called diabetes mellitus. Mellitus from Latin meaning pleasant tasting like honey due to the presence of sugar in the urine. Hypokalemia makes it harder for the kidneys to concentrate the urine because there's manipulation of
What the fuck is on my screen, bro? What? Yo! From Dr. Volker falling, bro. Like, I don't know what's happening, bruh. I just wanted to see what happened to his organs. You're not telling me what happened. You told me his kidneys aren't working, but I'm getting more of a science lesson that I'm not understanding.
Electrolytes that happen in the kidneys during normal function. And without that correct balance, it's possible that BA's kidneys are just dehydrating himself, drawing on body water to force unconcentrated urine through. But BA is still weak. The medical team don't know why this is happening to him, and none of his problems are solved. If unchecked and uncared for, his hypokalemia can cause an abnormal heart rhythm to suddenly appear, and can devolve quickly into his heart shaking in place.
What color is his heart with all that soda? It probably looks like my butthole. Thick and brown.
No longer actually pumping blood to the rest of his body. Over the next couple days, they tried giving BA some other electrolytes to see if anything can help. They tried stopping all IV fluids and were able to confirm that his kidneys were wasting all the potassium that they were trying to give him. But nothing that they tried could meaningfully replenish his potassium, stop his rhabdomyolysis, and help with his profound muscle weakness.
And it was probably because he kept drinking all that soda, because his wife probably kept bringing him in soda every day.
One day, the medical student saw BA have a visitor. It was BA's wife, and she was carrying a large case of soda into his room.
How you just said it. I'm such a genius. I might not understand the mythologically about the biology, but I'm a genius.
Rounds, and that he never really asked for any more help from the nurse throughout the day. No one saw or paid any attention to anything that he was doing. Standing outside the door, peeking in, the student saw BA drink every single can that was brought in.
That's a handsome ass student.
He had never seen excess to that degree. The student started getting some ideas of what was happening, but he didn't want to go into the room to be confrontational, especially not without the residents and the fellows around. And after reviewing his notes before going home for the night, he saw housekeeping staff get an extra large bag to take all the cans out. The next morning, the student got to the hospital early. He had prepared notes and questions and printed out some studies that he looked up so he could present it to the medical team. All of this because he went beyond and coincidentally stumbled upon this key piece of information.
Y'all sound like a horrible hospital. Y'all didn't know who was coming in and out of his room and what they were doing whatsoever.
And if you're a student too, looking for help to finance your higher education, you can work with SoFi, a member FDIC bank who's a mobile-first personal finance company who helps members bank, borrow, and invest their money. I'm a SoFi member, and they reached out to me asking if we could talk about student loans. I know student loans can be overwhelming and confusing.
We don't want to talk about student loans, buddy. We don't want to hear about no student loans, buddy.
This video. Soda is carbonated and sweetened water. Its original formulations in the 1800s contain what are now classified as controlled substances, but...
See, no, those are the words I can understand. But if you pull out a fucking diagram on how soda is made and the different chemicals that are in it, that's when we have a problem.
Some products now have another substance that we know of as caffeine.
Cocaine,
both the sweetening
Then why?
Products now have another substance that we know of as caffeine. Both the sweetening, specifically from the sugar, and the caffeine explain everything happening to BA.
Yeah.
Sugar is interesting because physically, wherever it is, water will want to flow towards it. In the small science experiment, I dissolve sugar in water and place it into a semi-permeable tube, meaning that only water and not sugar can flow in and out. I submerge the tube in a pool of distilled water that has no sugar in it, and you'll see that water flows towards where there's sugar. That water flows into the tube. In the kidneys, huge excess sugar from drinking 1 to 2 gallons of cola every day for 10 years can make it hard to reabsorb water because that water will want to stay with the sugar.
Okay, that makes sense. All the sugar, all the water in kidney, because it goes where sugar is. Because water like sugar, like human like sugar. Water is human. Well, water like human like. Interesting.
This is documented to happen with others who have been hospitalized for chronically consuming excess
Makes
soda.
sense.
But we know it isn't happening to BA, at least this time, because his urine was collected for 24 hours twice, and excess sugar wasn't found in that urine. The other problem would be caffeine. We know caffeine is a stimulant, but it works by blocking inhibition rather than directly stimulating.
Yes, inhibition. Yes, it'd be blocking that. What does inhibition mean? Oh, wait, the action of inhibiting, restricting, or hindering a process. What do you say?
Stimulant, but it works by blocking inhibition rather than directly stimulating the brain. And
it is blocking inhibition? So it blocks the way to relax normally? It blocks the slowing or...
the body. So that's why it's not considered as strong. You should check out my community tab for quiz questions on things like this. In the body, there's a chemical called adenosine. You may have heard of adenosine.
I think I've heard of that actually.
ATP,
yes.
The molecule that our cells use for energy.
Yes.
Adenosine is also the building block for DNA and RNA, but by itself, adenosine is a depressant. It promotes sleep. It dilates.
Why is the building block of DNA and RNA depression? Why is that our building block?
Blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow.
It's not what he just said.
Adenosine is also the building block for DNA and RNA, but by itself, adenosine is a depressant.
It's depression! I state my case.
It promotes sleep. It dilates blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow through the brain and the heart. It can also be used as a medicine to slow down heart rhythm, helping
he said by itself.
Beat. If caffeine blocks this inhibition...
I heard what he said. He said by itself, it's this. But it's still the building block of DNA. Does it? So even if I'm beside you, I'm still me. If I'm depressing and I'm beside you, I'm still depressing. I don't care what he said.
Then that's why it prevents adenosine from promoting sleep. And caffeine constricts the blood vessels of the brain and the heart, and it can increase heart rate. Caffeine is a naturally occurring product, and it's even shaped like adenosine, but it's what it does in the kidneys that explains what's happening.
So when they do this nonsense, and they're like, it's shaped like this, what does it actually look like? Like, because it's shaped like this, but my question is, what the fuck is this? You know, I'm seeing letters and whatchamacallits put together. But I still don't know what it is.
To BA. Caffeine can be a diuretic. There's a similar chemical in the same class of medicines called theophylline that's sometimes used in asthma that was once described as the most remarkable diuretic that we possess today.
Yes,
enough so that it was compared against other diuretics that are used for treating heart failure and was found to be as effective. Today, it appears that adenosine enables the kidneys to hold onto water by reabsorbing sodium under the same principle as sugar, because wherever sodium is, water will flow towards it. When this mechanism is blocked by
Maybe if I was still in school, I have a hint on what the fuck is on my screen. But I'm not. Videos like this lets me know, it gives me a friendly reminder on how unintelligent I am. And it's why we have to watch it, chat. We just need to sit down and absorb the lack of intelligence we truly do have.
Chronically large amounts of caffeine. Like in BA's case, sodium stays in what becomes the urine, and it throws off the electrolyte concentrations, enabling massive amounts of water to become urine. As the amount of flow increases through his kidneys due to diabetes insipidus, it appears that the kidneys concentrated more and more potassium into his urine. Okay. All of this explaining how BA drinking at least 7 liters of soda every day for at least 10 years caused his hypokalemia, how it caused him to make excess urine, and explaining why muscle proteins were floating around in his blood, causing the kidneys to shut down, and why his muscles were weak suddenly. If
soda bad, soda breaks down muscle, makes you pee out it. Soda redirects water and whatnot to bad areas. That's all I'm getting right now. That's all I'm understanding.
Excess soda consumption was the problem, and soda is not necessary for normal bodily function, then the answer would be to stop drinking soda. You might hear in the news and on websites and in other places from other people about how soda is bad for you. At best, they'll tell you about the diabetes, which is a big problem, one that would get countered by someone else asking
You're lost.
about
I fully understand
soda.
every
At
single
worst,
thing was happening.
They'll just draw some unrelated comparison without giving any whys. Well, BA's case is one of those detailed whys. And don't take my word for it, similar cases have been described and published in literature multiple times. Early insulin resistance can come from all the habitual excess sugar. I can't understate how big of a problem that is. Depending on what you do with your coffee, you can get it there too. Excess blood sugar levels can come from that insulin resistance and diabetes, or it can come directly from drinking massive amounts of soda all at once.
Yep,
it can cause
I was
fluid
there.
loss, both from the urine and from watery stools of the GI tract, where
is he about to pee out poo?
Potassium is also lost. Then a consistently elevated caffeine level for months to years. In this case, beyond the 400 milligram recommendation, but not enough to be a huge caffeine overload, leads to hypokalemia, nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, polyuria, rhabdomyolysis, ending in acute kidney injury, sudden onset muscle weakness, and electrolyte abnormalities. This can then precipitate into an arrhythmia of the heart, leading to sudden death if untreated, because potassium is involved in heart muscle contraction, and not to mention the permanent kidney damage that would come from the rhabdomyolysis. The amount of people who get sick like this from this amount of soda over this amount of time, it's not going to be that many people. Some people do have—
You don't understand a word he's saying. Yo, he just went on like a 15-20 second yap sesh that I didn't understand a single thing he just said. Like, I know what he's trying to say, but in the way he's saying it, I have no clue what he's saying. You get what you get me? Like, I know what he's trying to say, but the way he's saying it has me lost.
Have problems controlling themselves in this setting of gallons of soda every day for several years, but that's not the majority. We're never going to have the actual number of people that this has happened to. Now, what about diet soda? Then there's no sugar. It would still have the caffeine to do what it did to BA.
Exactly.
But then how about diet caffeine-free soda? Well,
then
there was a study
soda.
done looking at food questionnaire results from
I've
the
never heard of
1970s.
diet caffeine soda. That's not soda at that point. That's like oil water.
And 80s, 194,000 people, and they found that there appeared to be an association of kidney stone development in the groups that consumed soda. Remember, soda was different back in the United States in the 70s and the 80s from real sugar to high fructose corn syrup. And the artificial sweeteners are likely in different concentrations now than before. And those are just two things. The overall formulation is likely different now. There's simply a greater selection and availability of sodas today than back when this survey was taken. So take the study results with what you will. Type 2 diabetes and all its comorbidities like heart problems and nerve damage, what you will. Type 2 diabetes and all its comorbidities like
comorbidities. What does comorbidities mean? Simultaneous presence of, okay, that's what I thought. You know, I was using my context clues, and I'm like, that's gotta be what it means, but
heart problems and nerve damage. Hypokalemia and all its consequences, and kidney stones are what we're thinking of when speaking of excess chronic soda ingestion.
Don't drink a lot of soda unless you want to pee out rocks. But peeing out rocks doesn't sound so bad. Well, these rocks that you pee out is considered, I think, top 5 pains, top 10 pains. Like all time, like consensus. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
And think of at least kidney stones for caffeine-free diet. What about those artificial sweeteners? I'm going to defer to what the United States FDA said about it. Consumed reasonably and sparingly, I wouldn't spend any more time worrying about this. But the principle remains, if you don't need to put it in your body, don't put it in your body. When the medical team
That's pretty much the thesis of this whole video.
BA was told to stop drinking soda in the hospital, and his wife was advised to stop enabling his habit in this institution. They found that his blood potassium levels started to normalize. His kidney function started to return to normal, and his muscle weakness went away. Because the body is able to heal itself, some baseline function was achieved again as BA was able to make a recovery. Thanks.
So you see, the moral of the story is, too much soda? No, no, no. No, no, no. That's pretty much what he said.